We have a pretty sizable injury update after the 49ers faced off against the Arizona Cardinals and they clinched the NFC West. However, they weren't able to get out of that game completely healthy, and there were a couple scares to Brock Purdy, Dmo Lenoir, and some other players. So Kyle Shanahan does what he typically does on the Monday or the day after the game. He meets with local media and provides updates on all the 49ers injuries, and this is what we got out of the call with Kyle Shanahan. So let's start at the very top, I would say, with the most severe, and then we will work our way down into the more manageable situations. Obviously, we got a good amount of players to talk about. So it does appear that the guy who wasn't able to make it out of this game in a good spot was actually second-year player. It feels like a rookie because he had the red shirt kind of season as a rookie, but second-year defensive tackle Kalaya Davis has a high ankle sprain, and he is expected to be out a couple weeks. So that's really unfortunate for the San Francisco 49ers just due to the lack of depth overall that they have at defensive tackle. That's 3 defensive tackles that are now out. However, I do have some good news at the end of this in regards to the defensive tackle position. So hang around and we'll get to that once we clear some of these initial injury updates. So not so good for Kalaya Davis, and he is expected to miss a couple weeks. But from here on out, it's pretty good news for the most part. Jawan Jennings is in the concussion protocol. Apparently had some symptoms coming out of the game, so he's currently in the protocol. It'll be interesting to see if they keep him out. I doubt they will. Players such as Brock Purdy, who's been in the concussion protocol, was able to make it out within the week. So I would assume the same for Jawan, but that will be something that we continue to monitor throughout the week. As you can see on the graphic, Dmo Lenoir was ruled out for that game against the Cardinals at the very end. So that kind of threw up a little bit of a concern, but it does sound like he was able to avoid any serious injury as Lenoir is dealing with a rib contusion and he is currently day to day. So probably a good sign for his availability against the Ravens that he should be able to go, but he will be a guy that we monitor throughout the week and see what the practice updates tell us in regards to if he can go on that Christmas Day matchup. Cleveland Farrell had an ankle injury. He is also day to day, but again, not as severe as Kalaya Davis with the high ankle. So that is good news. Cleveland Farrell should be able to go, I would assume, as well with the Ravens. Again, another thing we will monitor. Brock Purdy finds himself in the injury updates because, as you guys know, he took the shot to the head and neck area. And as a result, actually scared, I would say, a good amount of us who had any interest or just, wanting to know what the well-being of Brock Purdy was when he went down and was down for a while, it looked like. Brock Purdy has no lingering symptoms. It was diagnosed as a stinger, so it wasn't concussion or anything like that, which, like we just talked about, he already went through the protocol earlier this year. It was diagnosed as a stinger. I've had many stingers as a player. It's kind of when, obviously, you get hit in the head neck area and you have all these different nerves attached to your neck and your back, and it just shoots this pain straight down your back. Obviously, there's different types of stingers. You can get them in your shoulder, you get them in your neck, you get them in your back. But it does sound like it was just a stinger, and there's no issues from that as a result. So that is good news. And we also have some additional good news, as I talked about earlier, regarding the 49ers defensive tackles. Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave both missed this game against the Cardinals, and the 49ers defense gave up a lot of rushing yards on the ground. It wasn't the 49ers defense best day, and you could probably give a lot of credit to those two guys being out and also solidifying their importance to this team. So it does appear according to Kyle Shanahan, that Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave have the potential to play this week. So that is huge. I am kind of the suspicion that if the 49ers needed Hargrave to go against the Cardinals, maybe he could have. But I do think that they were being ultra cautious to ensure that he was able to go for this Ravens game because it is such a big game and there is a lot on the line with this one. You're going to need all hands on deck. So it does sound like those two guys are getting healthy at the right time. Hargrave dealing with the hamstring issue should be able to be okay. Armstead with the knee and ankle, same thing. He's missed a couple games, but he should be able to go hopefully for this one against the Ravens. So that's another key element of the practice updates that we will be monitoring as well. But we also we don't really know what the status is of Oren Burks or Ross Dwelly. I believe the anticipation is those guys will continue to miss some time. But it will be something that will have to be monitored throughout the week, along with running back Elijah Mitchell. So the San Francisco 49ers, uh, dealing with some injuries. And, Kyle Shanahan was also asked if they had considered adding defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh, who the 49ers showed a lot of interest in last year. If you don't recall, Suh was deciding between the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. He ultimately signed with the Eagles, and the rest is history. So I don't know if Suh will be a guy that the 49ers have any interest in at all. But Kyle Shanahan says there's been no discussions regarding him, so probably not a big likelihood that he will be on the list for 49ers to add. So we will have to keep an eye out, though, who the San Francisco 49ers turn to on that defensive line. T.Y. McGill, who was called up from the practice squad, could very well be signed to the active if they do have to put Kalia Davis on short-term IR, if he is going to miss a couple weeks. So I do expect some kind of move at defensive tackle just because they're running low on depth at the interior position. So something should be able to happen. We'll see. And also, last but not least, I can't forget 49ers guard Spencer Burford, who has a knee, is expected to return to practice this week. So that is another interesting one, as well as he is been the 49ers starting right guard when healthy, but Jonathan Feliciano has filled in so well. We talk about it every week. It's going to be a hard decision for the 49ers. If they stick with Feliciano, they go back to Burford. Burford is the starter of the future, so I would anticipate they do what they did last time, and Burford takes his spot back. But that just, again, will be another thing that we monitor throughout the week. Let me know. Like I said, that was kind of a long one. A lot of stuff going on in there, but let me know what you guys think about all these injuries, guys getting healthy, all the different types of things in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.